Okay, guys, here I am. I told you that I was going to come back to the old haunted prison. So here I am. During the daytime, we're going to go in this time. There's the entry gate again, like I showed you last time. The wall of the prison. How far down it goes. Crazy. All right, let's go in. The warden's office. So this is where the warden had his office. Here's a picture of it. And then look here, guys. They have it set up almost identical. That's the same safe in the wall. Crazy. This was his office, man. Makes you wonder how many thoughts went through here. Here's where they would take the pictures of the prisoners. So you can see the prisoner number. Camera is cool. Wonder if it's original. I would not doubt it.
Tis the season, you know.
Barrymore. True Barrymore ancestor. 36 men served as warden. 1872 is when this prison opened. 1973, that's when I was born. First warden. This guy right here does not look happy. Interesting story right here about him. Served as warden for less than a year. He was prepared to oversee the execution of Douglas. Instead, Douglas chose to commit suicide on the day of his execution. So it was almost like he didn't want to give them the gratification. Wow, that's crazy. This story here does not surprise me. The far right, Charles Arney. I'm sure he wasn't the only one though. Some of these stories are quite interesting. Some of the stories here are pretty dark, I'm just warning you. Pause these so you can read them. Bet you it was scary to walk through that door. A lot more scarier than the principal's office. Armory.
I'm ready. Is it that one or that one? I'm assuming that one. Oh.
Kind of hard to read that. Oops. Going the wrong way with the zoom again. This is an interesting story here. Pause that and read it. It's interesting. Here's a cutout of him. The old wiring box is fascinating. All right, guys. I just shut the door behind me. We are in. We are locked in. The sound of that was pretty eerie, too. I should have recorded that part, but I think there'll be other gates that I can open and close around here to show you how they sounded. Check this out. We're in the yard. Let's walk this way. The views are actually quite spectacular. There's the cross up there that I was showing you the other day, Table Rock. Lights up every night. And this is the hill where they would watch the prisoners be executed. I'll show you where that's at. This is the Rose Garden. These walls are very tall. It just feels weird being in here, you know? And I'm only visiting. Solid rock, like I was saying, built by the prisoners. Sandstone. Guards. We're guards. It says here that the flattened 20-foot area of dirt separated the wall from the main yard. The inmates were forbidden to set foot here. If found in the area, an inmate received a verbal warning. After that, deadly force. So, this was the site of the gallows where they would hang, execute people, right here, where they now have rose gardens. This is literally where the gallows were. And then if you notice, right above the wall here, there's the hills that they would sit upon and watch and have picnics with their family. Right here, guys. On the inside, there's some writings that talk about how many people were executed here, so I'll show you that here in a minute. But I just wanted to show you where the gallows sat. Right here in this beautiful rose garden. This here, guys, was the old dining hall. It was set afire at one time, and that's why it looks the way it does now. Barely standing. There's a story behind it. So once I reach the plaque that talks about that story, I will let you know. But I wanted to show you the building. Yeah, this is where they would eat. Now it's just a hollowed out, not whole building. But here it talks about stairs led to the bird's nest. It was an elevated perch for an armed guard to oversee the meals. So he would sit up there, watch people eat, make sure everything's safe. Very interesting. More photos of the burnt down building. Very interesting. It's where they would eat. I noticed that I say wow and very interesting a lot, so. Wow. This is just a little shed out back behind the food court that I was showing you. Just an old shed. It's where they used to keep keep stuff cold before they cooked it. I'm almost positive that little area right there is Siberia. We'll walk over and see. Just wanted to show you these interesting looking buildings next to it. We'll find out what they are. Sentenced to hard labor. That's how the wall was built. It says from 1893 to 1894, for about a year, the inmates quarried rock from the foothills and built the prison walls. Like I was saying, guys. It was implemented the use of inmate labor to keep inmates busy and cut labor costs. Personally, I think a lot of people were imprisoned in order to perform free labor, to be honest with you. But that's my opinion. All right, guys, here's the area where those inmates were trying to dig out. The guy I showed you at the beginning, I think he was caught trying to escape, but here's where the shed was. It says in 1953, inmates dug an escape tunnel here. They began digging in a storage shed that has since been removed and were within 6 feet of freedom when a guard discovered their attempt. I think that's what that story in the beginning when I walked in was about. I'm going to read it later. But wow, yep, this is the area, guys. Not sure what this is, but let's go check it out. Hello. That's quite the echo. I am at a loss to understand how there can be different degrees of crime of this character. Crazy. If you're interested in these stories, pause it and read it, guys. There's a lot of them. It's just sad what these people were imprisoned for back then. And even today, what people are imprisoned for. I mean, yeah, I know that we need to keep the streets safe, and those type of people that are harmful should be in prison. But a lot of people are imprisoned for ridiculous reasons, sad reasons. It's all a big sham, and I'm really hoping that someday people see it for what it really is. I mean, look at this guy. Look how sad he looks. Did he really deserve such harsh punishment? That guy just looks like he just ate a sour lemon drop. Does not look happy. Yeah, I can't even imagine. But the people that set the laws, it was all at their discretion and their opinions. A lot of people suffered because of it, because of a lot of crazy laws. An inclusive institution, men, women, and children. The Idaho State Penitentiary housed not only adult men, but also 215 women, and children as young as 10, and men as old as 86. Crazy. I mean, this guy could have just been starving and really needed some food for his family. You never know the story. Doesn't mean that they're harsh criminals and, deserve to, I don't know, just have such a Harsh punishments for such little crimes. Like this, Susan Duffy, 17, was sentenced to 3 years and 4 months for grand larceny. She allegedly robbed a Lewiston man of $1,000. She was found guilty despite little evidence, which does not surprise me at all, guys. In March 1905, she was conditionally released due to poor health. So in other words, she was 17 years old and her health declined so badly they were forced to release her. To keep her freedom, Susie had to leave Idaho and return to her parents in Kansas City. So in other words, they're like, if you want to be free, you need to get out of this whole state. The African American community collected the money for her ticket home. How nice. But honestly, it's just stuff like this, guys. I'm sorry, but these guys do not look scary at all. I would not want to work anywhere near a prison. Unless I was helping the inmates in some way, shape, or form, I guess. Inmate number 4044. That's me. See, this is another thing that grinds my gears. Look at the difference in prison population, but I guess, human population has grown too. 229 men in 1918, 358 men 50 years later. And then look at this. Only 50 years later after that, 7,396 men. Look at this. That's how much it grew. The chart comparison. That's a 50-year difference, guys. 50 years here, 50 years there, and then 50 years here. Boom. Tell me there's something weird about that. I don't see a bunch of more crime going on in my life, in my world. Something crazy. Okay, guys, I was right. This little building is Siberia. Check this out. Solitary confinement. These cells were used as punishment and isolation for unruly or dangerous inmates. Sentences varied from a day to several months, depending on the infraction of the rules. Yeah, I've read a lot of stories and seen a lot of documentaries and watched movies where inmates were in here. And they didn't really do anything that bad, guys. Look at this. That's the hole that they would look out of. Look at this old heater. It's chilly in here and it's a nice day out, so I can imagine that's their view out their little hole. Out the window to the wall. The window to the wall. Wow. Oh my goodness, guys. This is like 3 feet by 6 feet, maybe. About the size of my bathroom, smaller than my bathroom. Let's go in. Oh, look at this. Whoa. Wow. This would be their view at the top. That's it. Hole. Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow. I can't even imagine, guys. This is pure hell right here. Pure hell. There's this makeshift bucket here. Imagine what that's used for. Yeah, this is tiny. This is weird. This feels weird. It feels sad. Another hole there. That one's covered. Wow. I'm gonna close the door. I'm gonna try something here. Oh, they won't let me close the door. We'll try it anyways. My phone and video is a recorder, so I'm gonna use it and ask some questions. And let me know if you guys hear any responses. A lot of graffiti on the walls and stuff. Doesn't smell the best in here either, guys. All right, let's ask a question. Is there anybody in here with me? I'm sorry that you had to spend time in here. This would be very, very challenging for anybody's soul, anybody's mind. I hope that you are free now. Is there anybody in here that would like to tell me their name? Your name? My name is Charlotte. All right, guys, let's get out of here. I heard a story that a lady did that once. Stuck her phone in one of these holes. That something dark came at her. I am protected. I have the best protectors in the universe. But yeah, can you imagine that being your only hole? Except for the one at the top with that little tiny bit of air and light that I showed you. They'd hand you your food through these. Wow. Like, look at this, guys. This was one of the scratchings on the wall. It says Siberia was just the end of the world. And I'm not saying everybody. I mean, there wasn't at least one prisoner that might have deserved some Siberia time, but I just think it's way, way over punishment for some of the crimes that these guys would do or girls would do. Or kids. They would just count the days. Little space and nothing to do. Photo. Here's some of the drawings that some of the inmates would draw. I could imagine how their soul felt sitting in there. Kind of creepy. I remember the first thing I'd done, I got out of Siberia. I went to the barber shop and I looked at my face. I hadn't seen myself in 7 months. See, that's ridiculous. Hospital burned down in the 1971 riot. This building originally served as the prison hospital. This building. I guess this is where it used to be. Guard station. Inmates were subject to search upon entering or exiting the 2-yard gate. Some still managed to sneak in makeshift weapons. One inmate smuggled Dennis, a prison cat, through the gate from an outbuilding. That's kind of cool, because I remember reading that they loved a Dennis, the prison cat. I think that he's even buried here. Woo! There's the guard. Handsome fella. Very plain guard shack. Nothing. There's probably more stuff in there back then, though. I would hope. Okay, this is the 2-yard gate they were just talking about. When inmates would come and go through here, they'd have to be searched. Wow, double execution. Wow. Look at this little sliding thing to kind of reminds me of Wizard of Oz. You know, slide it open. What do you want? Crazy. Barber shop. Not much in here, just some comics from the olden days. I call them the olden days, but 1973, not so long ago. Just wanted to show you this angle of the meal hall, food hall, meal hall, court, whatever, place they ate. That big hole in the wall is pretty interesting. Yeah, I just wanted to show you that view. There's some more cell houses that we're gonna walk through. I'm thirsty. Should I take a drink? All right, guys, this is the laundry. You know, it's where they did laundry. I don't know if you guys have seen the exchange basis only. In other words, if you want something clean, you better give me something dirty. It's where they used to hang tools. Crazy that these tools would be just out in the open like that. I don't know, maybe. Look at all these old machineries, guys. Old washing machines and crazy. There's a weird feeling in this building. Anyways, as I was saying, look at these spinners. Wow, it's old. I think those are dryers. But anyways, if you watch the episode of Ghost Adventures, you know, with Zach Bagans, one of my favorite ghost shows, even though he's kind of ornery and mean to the ghosts, they did an episode here. Idaho State Pen, look it up. Watch the episode. They talk about the laundry area and how, okay, so this was the dryer on the left. Exclusively for socks. So those other dryers were for other things. Sock it to me, baby. And so anyways, they did the episode here and they talked about the laundry and how there was an inmate killed over here in the showers. Wow, look at that. That's crazy. No loafing. We're sitting on the mangle tables. This reminds me of that Stephen King book, The Mangler, or the movie show. That's a good one too. But anyways, as I was saying, they did an episode here on Ghost Adventures. And they talked about how there was an inmate over here in the shower area who was basically, to use a proper term, or I wouldn't say proper term, but a nicer term, was sexually molested to death. I don't know what the proper term would be, but either way, it's dark and crazy. But here's the shower area, guys, where it happened, supposedly happened. Is there anybody in here? I'm sorry about what happened to you. That's terrible. What is your name? My name is Charlotte. Is there anybody in here? I'll have to go back and listen, guys. See if we hear anything. But yep, this was right where Zach Bagans was standing talking about that. On these exact stairs. Creepy. Let's go look through this window. There we go. Better shot this way, maybe. A lot of naked butts in there, I betcha. Here's the other side of that gate. The gate that they bring you in on. Bring you in on. This is what it looks like on the other side after the gate is closed. Basketball courts. Good way to spend your free time. Trying to just get through your days. Not sure how much time they were allowed to spend out there. Depending on the inmate, I guess. But yeah, here's our first cell block. Interesting keyhole. But yeah. Barber's cell. To allow stricter supervision by guards, the barber shop was moved into the individual cell houses. Oh, okay. They are using some pretty sharp instruments, so I can see why they'd want to keep an eye on them. I don't know why he would need a bed. That's interesting. Grooming standards for inmates varied with the times. The 1972 inmate rule book listed the following regulations. Hair, neat and not below the upper edge of the collar. Sideburns, not below the lobe of the ear. Interesting. But yeah, this was a typical cell. Looks like it housed 2 people, 2 men, or at least 2 beds. Who knows? Oh wait, I see more beds, 4 beds. There's some up here too. Can you imagine having to go to the bathroom in front of everybody all the time, including guards? No privacy, no choices, no nothing. And then these cells are, they're decorated differently, some of them. 4 people. I mean, it's hard to be crunched up with 4 people in an office, let alone in this kind of a setting. Look at that hole in the back, guys. That's so that the guards could look in and watch them. When the cell house lights came on, you are to rise promptly. Wash, dress, clean your cell, make your bed neatly, in accordance with approved methods. At the signal, open the door, step out, close the door without slamming. Wow. So you woke when they said, you slept when they said, you ate when they said, you drank when they said. Crazy. These are all the tools that were confiscated from the main yard. Weapons made out of tools that prisoners would make. Wow. That's some scary stuff. This one right here looks like a big peace pipe. Interesting. Typical weekday, 7:30 lights on, 8 o'clock breakfast, meat and mush. Whatever mush is, I don't know. I don't want to know. 8:30 work begins, because that's what you're here for, is to work. Free labor for the state. Lunch break, work resumes. Prisoner free time. No loafing. No, they can loaf. They're allowed to loaf at 2:30. Dinner and lockup 4:30, lights out at 9. Wow. Chow time in the dining hall. Interesting prisoners' uniforms. There were jeans and looks like light colored shirts. Nothing like we have today, with the orange, and nothing like it used to be with the stripes. Looks like on the weekends they would have some movie nights, baseball, football. That's good. Keeps them from going insane. These are human beings, which we're talking about. Sunday religious services, gotta have those. This is the area that the guards would walk down in between the cells to look through those holes I was showing you to check in on the prisoners. Wow. That's just creepy looking. There's a toilet. I guess you gotta go, right? If the guards are back here. But yeah, they just walk up and down this little pathway. You can see a hole right there that they'd peek through. Just kind of spy on the guards whenever they wanted. On the inmates whenever they wanted. Let's walk over to this cell house across from the basketball court. Or next to it, Okay, as I walk closer, I notice this is maximum security. Also known as Five House. Built 1954, death row and the indoor gallows. Wow, I'll have to check those out. Located on the second floor. They were kept completely from the general population. This one's much smaller than the other one. Not as many people in maximum security, I take it. Walk up there in a minute and look at the gallows. Very interesting story about our gallows upstairs. Not that they're mine, but the gallows. I remember it from coming here at Halloween, hearing the story. But yeah, the cells are a lot smaller, just one person per cell. Personally, I would actually like that better. I'd almost prefer to be kept away from the general public, and I don't know. I can say that now being a free woman. But I hear the general public is a scary place, you can get hurt. At least in here you're safe somewhat. You're never safe in prison, but yeah, just small one-person cells. What's this way? Another one of those walkways in between the cells. The old heaters. Showing you guys the windows in here. Yeah, just imagine being a guard walking through, doing your rounds. Silence of the Lambs. Clarice. Last cell on the end. Maximum exercise yard. They were only allowed out of their cell for 1 hour. They spent 23 hours a day in their cell. Little tiny exercise yard. All right, let's head upstairs. Who are you calling a dumb waiter? Death row. Witness room. Very interesting. Could have sworn that light was flashing a minute ago. Is there somebody in here? Flash the light. All right, this would be death row, guys. Imagine the energy, the sadness, the fear. What's over here? Oh, just the backs of the cells. Yeah, not very many cells. I think 4 or 5. But this was death row. These guys were gonna die. Very small. Yep, 4 cells. Now this cell here, guys, this cell here has a crazy story. This was Raymond Snowden's cell. He was known as not the butcher of Idaho, but I'm trying to think of the knife guy. One in London. Jack the Ripper. He was the Ripper of Idaho. He got into a fight with a girl he had just met at the bar. He ended up stabbing her multiple times with a little knife. But I guess it was so heinous that he got the nickname the Ripper. While in prison, Snowden wrote letters to his family in Massachusetts. He filled his days with crossword puzzles and occasionally visited with the penitentiary chaplain. He was executed on October 18th, 1957. Wow. Raymond, are you here? I would hope that your soul has moved on. But if you're here, you can say hello. All right, let's see where he took his last breath. All right, this is the next room over. This is the witness room. This is where they would sit and witness the execution, the hanging. This was the gallows. They hung the rope right there. And they dropped him right there. Snowden was actually the only man executed in this room. All other executions took place outside. He was the only one to be executed in this room. So this is Snowden's. He owns this. Crazy. The condemned man stood on the trap door with his hands and feet bound. A hood would have been placed over his head. The noose suspended from above was placed around his neck. Then they pulled the lever. That door right there, guys, is the door that was on the other side of his cell. I'll show you. So here we are back at his cell. He would have been taken out of this door and walked literally about 5 feet to this door. And that was that door I just showed you on the other side of the gallows. He would have walked through that door. Imagine how many times he sat in his cell and stared at that door, thinking, wondering. Crazy. See, the light is flashing. Is that you, Raymond? If that's you, flash the light again. Probably just bad electricity, but you never know. Wow, there it goes again. If that's you, Raymond, hello. I know what you did was bad, but I'm sorry that you suffered so much as well. If that's you, can you stop it from flashing? If that's you, Raymond, stop it from flashing. Wow. It just stopped. All right, this is getting crazy. If that's you, Raymond, yep, there it goes. Chances are it's about electricity, but this is still fun. Hello, if that's you, flash it again. Yeah, you just never know. That was fun though. It's fun communicating with the spirits. I'll have to do that more often. All right, now, gallows, let's go walk down to the drop room. This is the room where his body would have ended up after them dropping him. Down here. Boom. That's where he would have been. There's the trap door. Wow. There's even a drain down there. Gross. Wow. At 12:20 a.m., 2 doctors pronounced Raymond dead in this room. A hearse outside the double doors, which is right here, was waiting to transport his body to a Boise funeral home. He was buried in the prison cemetery the next day. I don't know where that is, but I'm going to find out. This guy here, he was set to be executed on the 9th, 1937. But he's the one that, after saying goodbye to his mother, as she began to leave, he embraced her. He leapt up on a table, pulled himself up the cells to the rafters. For 30 minutes, the prison guards tried to talk him down, but he ended up leaping to his death. This is Raymond. This is what he looked like. On September 22nd, 1956, Raymond brutally murdered Cora Dean in Garden City, Idaho. After drinking and carousing at a bar, the pair decided to go downtown Boise. He claimed a physical altercation ensued about who would pay for the cab. Mrs. Dean allegedly kneed him in the groin, sending him into a murderous rage. Just 13 months after the crime, he was executed. Number 10. I tell you what, guys, I'm very lucky to be able to walk out of here. A lot of people couldn't. A lot of people spent their last days here. But I get to walk out free as a bird. And no spirits will follow me. I am blessed. I am free. Here's another cell house. Let's walk up these crickety old looking stairs. Walk up to the second floor this time. See what the cells would have looked like. Looks like there's a third floor too. Cell number 1. Ronald Jackson. Roger Joe Fistboy. This was their cell. Tiny. This whole row is just not a very big walkway. Yeah, we're up here on the second floor. Four-person cell. $19. He does not look 19. Look at that. That does not look like no 19-year-old. Crazy how people can look older or younger than they are. And there's one over here on the end all by itself. 32. To me, he looks 52. But, you know, hard life will do that to you, for sure. A lot of stress. This cell block looks a little different. Little different bars. Just has the one small hole for interaction. Let's go in. Don't be tripping. Inmates used honey buckets stored in the ventilation shafts at the rear of each cell as toilets. Oh my goodness. Every morning, prisoners left their cells and disposed of the waste in the privy. That's crazy. Wow. Cell is tiny. Not very comfortable. Let me finish up this. Heavy. one is a taller cell block. It goes up 4 stories. Yeah, 4. Had to count again just to make sure. This here was the prison chapel. It was destroyed in a 1973 riot, the same year the prison closed. They were rebelling. But look, this is the destroyed building. It's a square. Doesn't even really look like a chapel. Okay, this is the building that had that hole on the other side. Destroyed in a riot. That's a riot. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tour of the prison and my little bit of ghost hunting. That was fun. So, have a wonderful day. Actually, I have one more thing to show you. This is crazy. And I thought Siberia was bad enough. I was walking out and I saw this. A violation of the penitentiary rules often meant punishment inside cell number 20, also known as the dark cell. The basement, referred to as the dungeon, contained punishment cages of 4 by 4 by 4. This was it, guys. How freaking crazy is this? The dungeon. Wow. I don't even want to know what that looks like inside there. About fell over for a second there. The dungeon. And I thought Siberia was bad. What a beautiful day. Front door, here I come. Also, I forgot the women's prison. Let's go walk through there real quick. So this is actually the wall that surrounds the women's prison. A lot smaller than the men's prison. They were housed here till 68. 2 and 20 women any given time. It's crazy. It already has a nicer feel to it. Women just have that vibe, right? Nice women, anyways. Like I was saying, most of the women in here were in here for like killing their husband, cheating on their husband. A lot of them were just trying to escape bad situations. This was one of the cells. I will say their conditions were better. I don't know how they were treated by the guards. I wouldn't even want to imagine, to be honest with you. Yeah, it just has these cells on the side here. Very small compared to the men's ward. See, that's what it looks like without the wall around it. Yeah, I'd say better conditions. That's because that's how women do. They take care of their stuff usually. The matriarch. Yeah, see, they'd have curtains and look at that. They're like, I want privacy. More comfy beds. That woman's touch. A lot of them still didn't deserve to be in here. Yeah, they all pretty much look the same, but there's about 7 cells. I'll show you some of these. Necessary to isolate men from women, I agree. But yeah, here's some of the stories. Let you pause and read them if you want to. This lady looks like she's had it rough. I feel bad for her. But some of the stories are just crazy. Like, what? Like, look at this girl. I was just trying to correct him. It's okay for, the men to beat you, but if you fight back, you could be punished. And that's unfortunate. I'm sorry that this video has some darkness to it, but it is our history, and I do feel like the world is getting better. Daily life. This is what it looked like, guys, when the women were in here. Just a small little congregation. Kitchen. This was the kitchen. This girl here was only 16.